Good evening, good evening. How are you guys today? I hope everyone is good today. Let me adjust my seat. We are back with our third edition of Discover Africa. It is your boy, Munya Chanetsa, also known as your favorite Moti in the building. And I'm here with my guy,
Seidu Iddrisu from Share Publishing Africa.
Another Moti. Hey, there's Motis all around, yo. So thanks for joining, guys, as always. And happy Heritage Day today. Seidu came, as in I hope you guys appreciate. Seidu came just to show heritage. Kente up in the building. Just to, and I also brought the small. I tried my best. But no, thanks guys for joining us again, another episode of Discover Africa, where we talk specifically publishing. Mzwandile should be joining us in a little bit, and we answer your questions about publishing, and we have one special guest as well, where we'll be just showcasing some of their music. So to look forward to today's show, just to let you know, so we have Cuebur and BokkieUlt from Suid-Afrika, who will be joining us today a bit later on at around 7:30, 7:20. And yeah, but other than that, we can just get straight into it as always. We start with, what is publishing? Let's start again. What is publishing? What is the role of a publisher?
Great stuff. I think that is the word. What's the role of a publisher?
What is the role of a publisher?
So, most people, as I always explain, most people think like publisher.
Carry on.
A publisher, your responsibility is to make sure that you take the works to radio, TV, and all that. And it's not about that. Publishing, like administration work, is totally a different thing from a PR company. So like there's a difference, a PR company and a publishing administrator. So basically, a publishing administrator is somebody who makes sure that he take care of your rights, which is the composition, either the lyrics or the melody. Make sure that it's registered properly, the rights are protected.
Yes.
Then basically when the melody, the music get used, people get paid, and everybody benefit from the creativity of the composition, which is the melody and the lyrics.
100%.
Yeah.
And also the other role of the publisher, the last one I'd say, is to find you work. So once we sign you as a producer or as a songwriter, our job is then to find you work. Work can be through collaborating with other artists, and most in the side of the industry we're in, the kind of collaboration we're talking about is possibly you writing for another artist or you producing for another artist. So just not to get it confused. We talk about placement, which is also known as synchronization. Sync. And that is sync is the definition of a sync is when there's, I think music is with moving pictures. That's the best way. So that's why a sync is considered your adverts. Placement in movies is a sync. Placement in TV shows is a sync. I think we can go as far. Placement within computer games is a sync.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing a high frequency squeak coming through in the sound. Did you see that message? There's a message saying high frequency squeak. Thanks for that, Anehu.
Bro, thanks very much. So how is it now? Is it better?
Anehu.
I'm not hearing on my side.
You know? Okay, we'll see if it pops up again.
Yeah.
But we were saying, Google's always watching. So, we said placement is what it is, yeah. So synchronization, placement in TV, gaming, movies, advertisements. And that's where synchronization, and our job is to look for placement in these and that's where revenue is earned for you as a songwriter or producer.
Yeah.
So that's the key role of a publisher. I know Mzwandile, maybe when he's here again, he'll go into the history of when publishing started. When it started with the written works and the like. Mzwandile's got that.
So basically, last week we touched a bit about what Munya touched now,
Yeah.
we made mention of getting into a sync deal as we talk about who is the beneficiary when the song is being synced. So like basically, in terms of music composition, or in terms of music copyright, we have two rights once the song gets recorded, mixed, and mastered. So when you're talking about the right owners in the sync deal, you referring to the master owners. So the person who owns the masters, they are the person that can give a licensing or can authorize anyone to use the song or the record in a sync deal. So a situation whereby you release a song and probably you invested money in the project. So as an independent artist or a record label, you have the right. So now when you assign those rights to a publisher, that is where the publisher will now have the right to pitch the songs on your behalf. So once the song get pitched and maybe the client want to use it, then they come back to the publisher, then the publisher will have to contact you. This is the kind of deal that is going on, and there is fee and all that stuff. So basically, once the deal is sealed, the fee is going to be split into two. One goes to the master owner and the other one goes to the composition owners, going back to the split sheet. So remember, when you record a song finish, there is a song split. You indicate who is the producer in the song, which is the composer in the melody, and the writers in the lyrics. That's the authors. So you have to indicate all those things, then you credit each other. But under normal circumstance, in terms of split sheet, we spoke about that last week again.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 50-50, but subject to negotiation at the same time, subject to what you've invested in it. So for instance, if I create a melody, then maybe at the final stages, Munya came in and add one or two things. We cannot do equal share because I've worked more than Munya. So, you know, based on how you people
80.
work, that's how you will split it. So the other 50% will go back to that composition based on whatever that you people agreed on the split sheet. Then you also get paid for that. But remember, before then, that 50% has already been paid to the record label or the master owner, if it's gonna be independent artist or a label.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And so one of the things I just want to reiterate that Seidu just shared was the split sheet is one of the most important things, guys. Like, and I'm actually going to we'll think of a way to make like templates a lot easier, because perhaps maybe that's what the issue is. And if it isn't, please do advise. You must please ask questions or advise what's the challenge with split sheets. But split sheets are very important, because you just do something like just having a document with the splits signed off on, it can save you a lot of stress later in the future. Because I mean, often what happens is whilst you're making the music in the studio, it's a good time, everyone's having good times, but then once you now, I mean, then the song becomes a hit, and now money's involved, and now maybe I'm claiming 100% when I know that Seidu did 50%.
Yeah.
Seidu doesn't know anything about publishing or splits, so now he doesn't. So only later he realizes, hey, Munya's been eating 100% of the royalties of this thing, and hasn't shared. So it's so important to have just a split sheet where it's a document that basically literally has the people's names, the percentage you control, and signatures. That's basically what it is. And I mean, everyone should have a copy of it. And then, it can say, as I said, it will save you a lot of stress in the future, because trust me, when money gets involved, it's not as fun as it was when you're in the studio making the songs. So, yeah, it's very important.
So actually, for you to get a complete split sheet, I think it should come out with the SAST code, which is an international standard recording code. Then you indicate the artist, the song title, the right owners. So under the right owners, normally it goes with real names, not AKAs or artist name, not stage names.
Government.
The reason being in terms of music composition, we don't have artists.
Yeah.
We have writers or
Yes.
composers, right? So probably I might be a vocalist, and somebody wrote lyrics for me to like kind of sing. So the person who wrote name should be in the split sheet, not me. I will only benefit in the needle time royalties, not the composition.
You know,
so
as you're speaking, I remember every week we're promising to bring the document
yes,
that breaks down things. And
yeah, that's true. That's true. I think next week.
I think no, next
we'll
week.
do that. Yeah.
Actually, we'll say when we have 50 viewers, then we'll do the presentation. No, I'm just joking. We'll make a plan to do it for you.
So
guys.
like as I was saying, you know, you get the real names, then you have your publisher name, then the capacity. Capacity will indicate the role that you play in that project in terms of recording. So if you are an author, you put author there. If you're a composer, in the melody you put composer. Then you should also indicate who owns the masters. Just because of these sync things.
Yes.
You indicate who owns the masters, then signature. So once this is done, everybody agreed to it, sign, everybody got a copy. 100 years to come, that is what the split. Well, that if there is any income, that is how it is going to be distributed.
Yeah. For the life of the copyright.
Yes,
anyway.
for the life of copyright.
Which
Even
is 50
right,
years.
I think now it's 25 or so.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 25 now.
Is it? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's 25 now. Yeah.
Hey.
So yeah, basically that's how this split sheet thing works, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get a question on that so that?
So let's see. I think there's some questions. So, what is it? Y'all keep saying next week. Aneunu.
It's very busy.
You say today. First it says so the 50% between master and composition is fixed. What is it? Master and composition. No, each of them have their own
Which
separate
one?
rights. No, the first one says the 50-50.
Then the master or the first
master
one?
has its own rights.
Yes,
composition
yes,
have
sure.
its own rights.
Sure, sure.
So each of them are their own 100%.
Yes, yes.
So it's not split between the two. They're
So
they're two separate rights.
It only split when there's a sync deal. Then the publishing will get 50%, then the master get 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The master split.
And the composition splits are negotiated, like you said.
Okay.
ISRC would be for masters, and then there is ISWC for publishing.
So
Yeah.
ISWC code is a work number.
Yeah.
So normally you get those numbers from your Samro, Kapaso,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, you're right. Those are two different codes.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week we shall.
No, definitely next week we'll
No,
get
next
the
week we
split
won't
sheet.
disappoint
Talk
you
about it,
anymore.
then we'll come with it.
We'll get
Yeah.
it done then.
So, like another thing that I wanted to like to talk about is in terms of a record label signing artists, then automatically thinking that they own the publishing rights.
Yeah.
These things cause a whole lot of misunderstanding.
Actually, it's a very good point. you
So
brought
it's
up,
something
man.
that we're gonna touch a bit.
And it's something you need to be very aware of, because just because you're the label, the record label, it doesn't mean you automatically own
The
the publishing of that.
Correct.
So that's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seidu, for
Yeah.
actually that's something which I think is often assumed by the label sometimes and assumed by the artist. And the reality is that not all the time. Like just because you're signed to a record label, it doesn't mean that they own your publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if it is involved, Happy Heritage Day. What's up? Is there space in this side? Can we move up a bit more?
Happy Heritage Day, bro.
Yeah, I'll check.
We're good.
We're good. Mzwandile in the house. Watch him out.
On?
Oh, the top.
Yeah.
Got it.
What up?
You guys rolled. You rolled up today. You guys did send me the memo to make sure.
It's Heritage,
I
it's
know,
Heritage Day.
Sometimes
No, like,
things happen, yo.
and you always were African attack. So I thought you were gonna come in full regalia. I thought you were gonna be like head to toe. I was like, no, I have to pull it because Munya is gonna come full. And then now you're wearing
My mind wasn't there, yo. My
Like
mind. How?
house, right?
So as we usually do, we always start off just by introducing. Well, we've been on for maybe 15 minutes or so, and we asked the gents to jump in. But yeah, please, Mzwa, you can just introduce yourself as usual, and yeah, tell them what you do.
What up? So, sorry, late. I'm late right now. Head of music publishing in Africa Creative Publishing. We're like a boutique music publishing company. I think that's what it is. I've been in this industry for a couple of years, maybe 5 years. Worked at Universal Publishing. But yeah, I'm a publisher like all of these gentlemen here. And
The rest of us.
we're focused on really pushing the African agenda, I think.
100%.
And making sure that African creatives have best representation.
Yes.
In terms of like, their publishing, and then just pushing, I think, our African story, because right now I think, have some of the best music,
Definitely.
or the best creatives in the world.
Definitely.
And then and hopefully
Strong.
we can like inform some people, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
So we were talking about I think the area that when you came in was we wanted to give a breakdown between a record label signing an artist thinking that they own the publishing rights. So these things, it does happen. So like we're trying to like kind of break it so that writers and record labels understand. So basically, you sign a record label deal with an artist, and these things happens mostly with upcoming artists.
Yeah.
They sign, they
don't
feel
know.
like okay, it's everything is a 360, all that. But when you look at it, there's no clauses talking about the composition, the publishing rights.
Because it's a record deal.
Yeah, because it's a record deal. So like if you like, for instance, I register a company, I want to do a record label business. I sign few artists under the company. What if you want to also have access or also own some right in their composition? What you should do is to get a bigger publishing company to sign an administration deal with them, so that they will provide you an exclusive writer agreement between your company and your writers, so that it will cover you for the publishing right. So that whatever that agreed in there in terms of that exclusive writer agreement, that is the shares that the company and the writer is going to be sharing. So normally, you will have to like kind of apply a membership with a society like Samro. Then basically, normally you will get your mechanical right direct from the company that is doing your administration. Then that same company will make sure that they make payment direct to your writers, so that there will not be conflict and all those things, getting statements from the company and all that. So it makes your work easy. Yours is to make sure that the content is done. Then you get a split sheet, you give to the main publishing company, which is the let's say the sub publisher or something like that, because you will be the original publisher. But your services is to provide split sheet to the sub publisher to do the administrative works on your behalf. That is where you can now have shares in the publishing right. If not, you don't have shares on it.
I think this question, the one right there, is directed to what you're talking about now.
You get it?
Yeah.
So basically, so the question says, so as an independent without administrative power of a publishing company, how do I make sure I'm collecting on the publishing if or when the money is coming in? So basically, if you do not have a publisher, I mean, technically, the administrative power, administration is quite, I'd say, admin heavy, but it's something which can be done internally, but it's just whether you have the capacity to handle it actually, and even the how do I say, like the expertise to know how to actually get the money that might be due to you.
Okay, sorry. So on top of that, most times you will find out that the artists, if you are going to engage yourself into artistic life, the administrative part of your publishing is always going to be difficult for you, because that is not your area. So the only thing you can do if you don't have a publisher is to make sure that you get your membership through Samro for your performance rights. Then also get your membership with Capasso for your mechanical rights. So these two rights, you'll be getting it from these two societies. But the only challenge is if you don't have a publisher, there are certain income that is going to be missing. Because remember, Samro is a big body that wouldn't have those kind of time to make sure that who the person is, where is their money sitting and all those things. So if you have a publisher, that's the area, the publisher, because remember, any money that is coming on your works, that's where the publisher also will get something. If you don't make money, your publisher doesn't make money. Exactly. So how can the publisher pay his bills and all those things if you don't make money? So now it's now the responsibility of the publisher to make sure that he creates works that is going to bring money from your catalog. So it also become a very serious thing for the publisher, because remember, as I just explained, if you don't make money, the publisher doesn't make money. True. So you will force, like me, I will try, go everywhere, go extra mile to make sure that I meet up, I put your works out there to get all these sync deals and all those things, check with Capasso, back office, and international. And one advantage about publishing is international. For instance, most publishing companies, we have representatives outside your own local territory.
Globally.
For instance, I have somebody who represents my right in UK. So whatever works that you give me, you might think that you give me in South Africa, but it's in UK. It's everywhere globally. So when the works makes money there, the person will collect it on my behalf and send it. And it might not even go through the same Capasso and back office. It will come direct to me for you. So it's very, very important. If you don't have a publisher, try and get a publisher. But at the end of it all depends on the content that you are creating. If you have quality, then it will talk for itself.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think what Seidu said, you should get a publisher to help you with the administration. However, I mean, and I know a lot of creatives don't want to necessarily have publishers. It's a lot of admin work. So now you have to go register your songs in Samro and Capasso and all of these PROs. And it's not only registering the songs, but following up.
Yeah.
So when you register them, then you check in maybe like 3 months, 6 months, whatever, like other registrations correct, so on and so forth, right? And that's what a publisher does for you, right? Yeah. But if you would like to do it for yourself, just know that it's like a lot of work. So
yeah. It's possible.
It's possible. I mean, it's just a lot of work. And obviously, we're all publishers, so we encourage you to sign with a publisher. But if you don't want to sign with a publisher, just know it's a lot of work. It can be done, and I know there's some independent writers and others who do it, but maybe you have to hire somebody else because it's a lot of admin and checking. And unfortunately, our like PROs aren't perfect on the continent, so there's like a lot of, especially sometimes like when songs are in dispute or songs are like, when the songs come in, they say like the artist's name and not the songwriter. Yeah. The songwriter is not the same as the others. So all those songs get put in like no society, nobody knows, or undocumented, whatever.
Undocumented.
So there's like lots of things that are a lot of admin work, right? And it's just mistakes that can happen without you knowing it. And that's why a publisher is advantageous for you, to work with one. But if you want to do it yourself, just be aware that it's a lot of work.
It might sound very simple, but trust me, it's not a simple thing.
It's at all.
Very, very difficult.
There's a question there that says, so I sign up with a PRO. I do not have a publishing deal, which I figure makes me my own publisher. So I think you need to, one of the things that sometimes gets confused is the collection management organizations are not publishers. They are collection management organizations. They work hand in hand with publishers as well as creators even directly, but they aren't publishers. So when you do register with the PRO, you're not doing a publishing deal with them. Their function isn't to be a publisher, basically. So
their own is to collect and distribute. The publisher is to make sure that they source where your income is sitting, and they do their own administrative work to get it out from where it's sitting. So there are two services there. PRO is to collect and pay, which is performance right organization like SAMRO. Their own is to make sure that the works that the publisher sent to them is been notified to other PROs globally. So that wherever that the work get used, because they also have reciprocal agreement with different societies globally.
Yes.
Yeah, so with that performance right, you get it once it's notified. But with the publisher, they have to make sure that they dig everywhere they think that the song get used. You might even find out that your song was used maybe on Metro FM, but the compiler made a mistake. If your name is maybe, let's say, Ryan or Wayne, they made a mistake, they omit a word. That work is going to go to Undock. The PRO wouldn't solve the problem. The publisher have to make sure that they solve that problem.
Precisely.
So I'm just looking to see where the guests are and how they are, but okay, it's all good. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly that.
How the do you have any more questions? Okay.
Wow.
Why are all the artists crying for their masters back? The whole Kanye Twitter rant when artists still make money off those masters. Yeah, it was actually the hot topic of discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
for the past week and a bit.
Yeah.
Just to give context, basically, a few weeks ago, Kanye West, I guess he made some of the contracts, one of his contracts available online. He took pictures of of his contract and he made it available online, and I guess it created a whole big discussion. And I know outside of that, Kanye has also just been saying like, yeah, masters. He wants people to own 50% of their masters and the like. So, so why? So when you say these artists, I'm assuming it's because of that, crying for their masters back. So I think
that that's a tricky question in a sense that in a sense that when you talk about master rights, that is the main deal between an artist and a record label, right? For instance, I am a record label. You sign with me for me to invest money in your career. Obvious, whatever that we agreed on, you might even go and see people agreed on 10% on behalf of the company, depending on the investment. For instance, if maybe you have a budget of $1 million for your project, you don't even have 10% of it. Now you go to the company says, okay, fine, I will do it, but I want 90%. If you agreed, that's the deal. You just have to make sure that whatever that the clauses, you happy with it, you happy with everything, then maybe they should be, the term shouldn't be longer than what you wouldn't like be happy with and all those things. Other than that, you cannot stop a record deal because
and I will quote Lupe Fiasco, because Lupe Fiasco was speaking about this, and so listen, I know there's a lot of discussion about Kanye West and all this stuff, and deals have to change, and I agree. Like, there's been some terrible contracts, publishing master contracts that have happened in the past, and people have been exploited. However, and I'm going to say this, Lupe Fiasco said there's artists out there who have the best contracts ever in terrible situations, and there's artists who have like terrible contracts in the best situation. And what that means is like, you can have the best contract, whatever, 90-10, whatever like the deal terms are, but if the person that you're in business with is not invested or doesn't care or doesn't want to uphold, because the contract is an agreement between two parties, yourself and the other party. If they don't want to fulfill their obligations, you can have the best deal. You can have a 90-10. But if they don't want to push you or they don't want to like distribute your music, even these masters, like, I would rather have my masters owned by somebody that is going to make me a big star. So we're talking about like Ambitious, the record label, right? It's well documented they signed terrible deals with some of their artists. However, without that record label, we would not know who Amanda Black is, Java, MT, Aries, and so on and so forth, right? They were in terrible deals. However, their situation was, I won't say it's amazing, but we know them now, right? So the idea, and listen, like, I'm not making excuses. Like, record labels have done some terrible things to to people in history. However, it's about understanding that it's like it's a give and take. Sometimes you must use a record label to give you what you want. They're almost like a bank or whatever, right? But it's ultimately it's about like get in bed with somebody. The contract is only as good as the person on the other side of it, right? So Kanye's talking about all these things. Sure, give these artists the best deals but if they don't have somebody who, I would rather be and Kanye can talk like this, but Kanye was Universal and all those record labels did good by him. Like that's how we know who he is, right? Or people say like Drake was signed to Wayne, who was signed to Birdman, blah blah blah. But we know who Drake is. We know who Lil Wayne is. So these record labels have done terrible things, but we would never know you without those people. I'm not making excuses for them. However, it's just understanding that a contract. So people shouldn't go around and be like, oh no, I want my. Why do you want to own? You want to own 100% of shit? No, you must own 100% of something that somebody wants to like make it, right? So like rather let a record label own your masters and they push you. Sure, like it sucks, but own your masters. I know a bunch of independent artists who own their masters 100%, but you never heard their names because they don't have the machinery or they don't have the know-how. So like, and then we take these like these outliners like Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle, do you know like Nipsey Hussle's been rapping for like 15 years, 10 years. I remember Nipsey Hussle was talked about in the first freshman class that XXL did 12 years ago with Lupe Fiasco and them. But we only heard about him like in the mainstream 2-3 years ago because he had to grind. So it's just like a trade-off.
Yeah.
So I'm talking personally, I hate this thing about like masters and being independent. Like we hear these buzzwords, but every deal must be based on like sign a contract that's good for you based on where you are and where you're trying to get to. We shouldn't go into like conversations where like, oh, I want my masters. Have them. Let's see what you do with them.
And you see the main problem as well is when an artist is desperate, they don't even look into contracts.
At all.
They sign anything, right?
Yeah.
But along the line, when the label is doing its job, blow you up as an artist, then once he's in the mainstream now, he see that how and why am I into this contract? That's where he's feeling like, no, I want to go out of it, but forgetting that we agreed on terms. So these things like this are supposed to be like kind of resolved, amicable, no issues and all those, and then everybody go his ways, not a fight.
I think that what this actually comes down to, and the honest truth for me is that, and I think it's also, there's an element of accountability I want to start putting on the creator side, because there's certain industry lies which I think have made creators believe certain things work in certain ways. So for example, the biggest one for me is that creators don't read. So automatically a lot of guys don't want to try and even understand what they're reading. They don't do the legwork to read contracts and stuff. So I'm saying that as I'm saying that, it's definitely not right to be taking advantage of, but I think now we're at a stage now, I think, where there's so much access to information and stuff, or accessibility to certain people. There's platforms such as this where you can be asking questions. But when it comes to it, the creators don't sometimes want to put in the work. They don't want to invest that time. Or maybe it shouldn't be the creators. Maybe we need to start looking at investing more in music business people, actually more. Maybe that's where, maybe we've got, the talent is there, and I think we all know that, but maybe it's the business side which is lacking. Maybe that's what we need, the business guys who want to explore being in the music business, like to attend these things and speak and just understand more and ask the questions to know better, so you do better. And I actually wanted to bring up something. There was a message I got when you mentioned ambitious. There was a fact that was thrown at me recently. I won't mention from who, but I was told that, and the message basically said that majors are giving as little as 18% of royalties back to artists. All deals at black-owned ambitious are 50-50 on net. But I won't finish. I won't finish the rest. I'm just sure saying that. I'm just saying that was put out there. That we need to start also asking the questions. I think maybe actually at some point it would be great to have someone from Ambitious come through and actually talk. You know, those kind of interviews. And maybe that's what we need. As in, we need to have those kind of people to actually come and talk, and let's have the conversation. So there's no more speculation and rumors kind of thing. So yeah, that would be interesting. That would be good.
We need to get somebody from the record label side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just come and explain on their own experiences. Then
it'll be interesting. But Yeah. Let's see. Sorry. Let's just see any questions.
Yeah, masters.
So the masters conversation. Yeah. So that's it. So start learning to read contracts, guys. That's for me for the master situation is that, and you have to honor your contracts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't justify someone being taken advantage of, but you must know what you're signing off. Don't get excited by just the paper. So then, okay, what's the main benefit of owning a master? Because they're definitely on the split sheets. I mean, technically, I mean, just the same way is like, and this is actually something which I believe in quite strongly, is that we need to start seeing music as an asset, like the same way you see a physical thing sometimes, because with any asset, an asset can potentially, it can give you a return on investment. It can make money for you. So that's why you want to have more of it. Well, that's why I think some of these artists want to own their masters, because they think they can maybe do better with this asset, which is music. and that's what ends up being the fight. But I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but yeah. That's,
Listen, I used to be a rapper once upon in my life. And I owned my masters. And my rap name was Mzwandile. None of you have ever heard of me, right? And I own 100% of my masters and all my publishing, but none of you have ever heard of me. And that's my point. Oh, I own them. And I'm singing home 100%, like all 40 of those songs. And I'm singing at home, and they keep me warm, and that's all they do. I make no money from them, but I own them.
You see, let me send you one example. I quite remember somewhere 2012-13, I had a trip to one of these African countries. I'm not going to mention names for a program. Then after the program, one big legend in that country came and approached me with his masters that give me certain amount of money, not small money, and keep everything, go and do whatever you want to do it.
You see.
So you see things like this. When I listen to him, I draft a contract, he sign, I take everything. Tomorrow when there is money, if I'm making millions, the person will come out and start complaining, forgetting that this was the initial proposal that he gave to me. So most times we just have to be careful how we do our deals and all that. That's the main problem of artists. Yeah. If not that, it's it's bad.
That same artist, when you start making money with those masters,
yes,
you'll come back.
You'll come back.
Start saying, you'll now be knocking.
There's a question there.
So I saw the question, and I've been talking a lot about working with, but publishing deals for life of copyright or even 25 years. We've seen them in our past. In my opinion, I'll speak for myself. They're not fair, and we should never see them ever again, especially life of copyright, right? Because no one should ever own your copyright forever, right? You sign a publishing deal, it's like a give and take, but there should be reversions. So you should be able, I think 25 years is too long. I don't want to see publishing deals, unless, okay, we'll get in, there's a few technical things, right? Unless it's a co-pub, whatever, right? But generally, you should not be letting somebody own your copyright forever. Even 25 years is too long. So,
yeah,
we've seen them in the past, and we all work for a major, we've worked for majors before, and those deals have been there in the past. However, I don't think in 2020 we should not be seeing these kind of deals. If they ever approach you with one of those deals, say no.
Perpetuity. If you see the word perpetuity
or life of copyright.
I don't think that's
but
people, you can sign a long, I've seen, maybe sign a 10-year publishing deal. I'm not saying longer term, but you should see what they're offering you or whatever, right?
Correct.
But the standard terms, three-year normal term with a 5-year retention, whatever, that's standard in the market, right?
Yeah.
And those are the deals you should be looking at. You can negotiate them up and down, but we should not be seeing longer than 10 years, in my opinion. And again, I'll say in my opinion, there's people out there who might disagree with me, but in my opinion, don't sign your rights over to somebody else for that long, because
I think.
Okay, my take on that is, publishing is a relationship. So if you have a good relationship with your publisher, it will not result to all this thing of terminating, life of copyright is coming and all those things. So when you sign with any company, you make sure that you keep the relationship good. You have the relationship with your publisher, everything is in order, then this life of copyright thing, it will not come in. There's no any publishing company that is going to sign with you without that clause.
No, but Seidu, no.
Which one?
That
Life of
life,
copyright.
no,
No,
there's no more life of copyright. The
No,
retention
no,
period
we
is
see-
not
Yeah,
it's not changed
it's
to
a
retention
retention
period,
period.
not life of that one is cancelled.
Okay, but
Yeah, it's
there's some
cancelled.
publishers who don't do retention.
No, you can't do life of copyright.
You know what
anymore.
happens?
It's
some
retention
publishers don't
period.
do it.
But
What is retention?
So basically,
You're right.
so actually that's a good question. Thanks.
So
yeah.
retention,
So
yeah, you're
basically,
right.
when it comes to so the contract can be for a period of 3 years. So therefore, you are signed to the publisher for a period of 3 years. The retention period is the period after, I guess, the term of your agreement,
Yes.
where the publisher will still be collecting.
And hanging on. Yeah.
Yeah, and on your still collecting on your copyright and basically
Yeah. So okay.
yeah
based on the works that you've registered within that 3-year term,
yeah.
the retention period will cover those works. If you don't continue the contract after the 3-year term, then you can only sign a new works to a new publisher,
Correct.
not those old works.
The old words.
Yeah.
So like it's not like, and you see that thing scared like writers. It's not like the publisher owns it. You see,
Yeah.
but when they put the word own,
They own it
people
for that
feel like
time.
no,
See,
it's not.
no,
It's
they
not. No,
don't.
it's not a
See,
own.
they own it for
no,
that
no, it's not
time.
a
No.
own. You
See,
see,
we
it's the
must be honest.
services.
No,
It's
see,
the services
they
that
own
you
it.
still own.
But they own it
For that
because
period.
It
For
involves
for
an
that
assignment of
for
copyright.
that retention
right?
period.
Yeah.
No, but the publisher owns that copyright for that time period.
Zwa,
almost like having a
Zwa,
license.
No, and I'm a publisher.
Zwa, when
Let's
they
not-
said
let's-
own, when they say own, it doesn't mean
No,
that
they
he
do.
is his.
Yes,
It's
it
still
is.
it's the
It's
services.
exactly
It's,
that.
it's still the services that you have to render the person,
Yeah.
whatever
Yes,
that
they
is
still
due,
own
you
it.
collect and pay.
The
But
publisher-
It's not
no,
like
but they still own it, Seidu. They can
For that
determine
period of time.
what they
As
do
in-
with the copyright. Sure, they for more reasons they can't do certain things, but Seidu, let's not lie to people.
No,
The
no,
publisher
you
owns
see,
it for that
no, no,
time
no,
period.
you see that-
they own that publishing.
that
and you
owning.
know.
You see, you have
And they
to.
will-
Zwa, the reason why
No,
I'm saying
Seidu,
we have to
let's not
break
lie.
that own.
Yeah.
You see that own.
What-
We have
what
to.
does
We have
that
to.
word
We have
say
to.
do?
We have to break it.
Okay.
When you said own,
Yeah.
it means that I take a product from you.
Yes.
And it's mine. You,
Okay.
It's not yours anymore.
Okay.
It's not about that.
What is it? What is it?
It's about the services. I still render you the same services
Yeah.
that are supposed to render
But
you.
you own that
I still
copyright.
get my publisher share.
Sure.
Then you get your writer share.
Yes, of the copyright
Yeah.
that you own, though.
Yeah.
It's the
As in-
copyright. It's the copyright. So it's
Maybe-
like
I think Seidu maybe- I think
Mzwandile
he's
takes the
just-
copyright and he transfers it to Seidu. Seidu now, it's like, guys, intellectual
owns
property is like any physical property.
Yeah, it's like-
So
You
remember
now have
that.
the title
That's what you
deeds.
said, an
No,
asset.
it's like
Think
a
of
house.
music as an asset,
You
yeah.
own the title
Zwa,
deeds to my house. And
you see-
can
you see-
decide
you see the
what I
owning.
do with it, right?
So you're saying you're renting the house?
No, I'm
as a
coming. You
publisher.
see the owning.
but
It's
Seidu-
not between.
But we
You
own
see that clause?
No,
It's
we
between.
own it, Seidu.
No, Zwa,
I can't put
that
your music
owning-
in an advert if you don't like cigarettes, whatever, for more reasons, more rights.
there's
But you
more
own it.
That owning
You can
is
do
between
whatever
is
you
between
want.
publishers,
You own
eh?
it. But you
Yes.
still own
Do you
it.
understand the owning? It's between the publisher, not the writer. You understand that?
But it's copyright, right? So it's my copyright that
So,
transfer
So, for example,
to you.
Munya is
I
under
own-
Sony, right?
Yeah.
I'm under share.
Yeah.
So I own that works from out of Munya, not
And
the
everyone
writer.
else.
No, but their
Not
copyright
every
transfers.
publisher.
Yeah.
It depends
So when
what
it comes
you
to publisher level, that is where the owning is coming in,
but
not the
no.
writer.
But during, what Mzwandile is saying is that during that time you
copyright,
control. So let's
you
just,
could-
maybe let's
I
use the word
control the
control.
works.
Let's say control instead of for the
you
people.
own it.
This is the only way I can think of because maybe it's the word ownership. Seidu.
Okay.
You own the work.
Own it.
We control it, but
You
yes,
own
we
you
own
own
it.
the work
You own
to
it.
protect
We own it for that
Sony,
period.
to protect Universal, to protect
Yes.
Africa,
We own it.
not
We
the
control
writer.
it.
No, and I agree, and we must own it for reasons. However,
For that
let's
period.
not. We still own that, or like some.
Yeah.
We still. There's some pure admin deals, which is something else, where like they serve it. It's like service level agreements, right? Cobalt and that. There's like companies on the end. There's companies like Cobalt who own it.
You see,
No,
you
but
see-
like say the publishers own
no,
copyright.
no. They own the
Generally,
copyright. They
and
own
that's
the.
their value add.
That's why they
Let's
own the
not lie.
copyright against other publisher, not the writer, not the person who
No,
but
who,
you
who
from-
signed the contract with you.
Yes, because
He
you
still
pay-
owns his rights, right? But you only
Moral
get your
rights, but
publisher
no,
share.
No,
Yeah.
the more rights, but I don't. Okay, let's say Mzwandile, I sign to you, I transfer my copyright
Yes.
to you
I
for the
own
next 3 years or 5 years, whatever. All of
That's
and
why
also-
you can't do anything with
Yeah.
it. You can't do it without the
and
permission
all
the
of my
publisher,
copyrights
right?
that have existed come to you. I can't do anything. I can't. No,
That's why you can't just take your music and do what.
Yeah, no, because
if
you
I'm your
own-
publisher. It's because
it's
I own the
transferred.
copyright.
You,
that's during
the
that
copyright
term.
has transferred to you. You own it, and that's what this.
Even in retainership.
Yes, and that's retain.
That's
is the most important one because like you leave after 3 years. I leave and say sharp. I go sign to another publisher. But you own all my previous ones for 5 years or 10 years. All have a copyright. That's why people are upset.
So I'm
now,
coming
for 10 years. Yeah, sure, you can pay me my money. But you own my copyright. I can't go get a sync deal without your permission because you own it, and that's the honest truth. And Kanye is whiling, and I disagree with what Kanye is doing. But we have to be honest. It's still ownership, right?
Ownership.
But it's fine to let somebody own it. Just make sure that the deal terms, because sometimes I'd rather you own my publishing for 5-10 years if you're exploiting it correctly or whatever, right? But it's still ownership at the end of the day, and that's my thing. It's like it's ownership.
It's transferring ownership.
And we shouldn't because we're here to educate people, right?
No,
it's ownership, right? And that's the honest truth.
This topic, we need to talk about it. We need to clear it next week. That ownership, you see that control. We need to talk about that. You see that control. My understanding is to prevent. Is to prevent other publisher. Not the writer. The writer also get his writer share.
I own this land, but
the writer.
You can mine rights, and like it's the same thing, guys. We've been exploited. I'm sorry for any white people by white people for a very long time, guys. And they invented this shit, guys. Like let's not mess each other, guys. That's what happens, right? It's ownership, and we must take it back, right? However, let's not be outlandish about it. And like, I'm saying it should be the right conversations.
It doesn't actually. I've messaged them, and it doesn't look like they're gonna be they're not responding. Oh no, they're asking where the link is.
Did you send him?
I did.
While we focus, guys, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, because there's people out there who just say outlandish things, ownership. No, guys, everything it's like a relationship, but we, like understand what this side means and what that side means. That's what I say. It's ownership, right? But sometimes you should let people own your shit if they make it, if they promote you and like make your music pop. Like if you think about it, right? Publishers do amazing things, record labels. There's lots of artists that I can't really mention. So it's like, as long as you understand what's happening, let them own it, but they can exploit it, right? And that's my thing. Like, let's not get into like, oh no, I own all my own stuff. Sharp. Then what happens, right? It's the same thing, right? But like, just make an informed decision. That's the only thing I'm crying, right? We should make informed decisions.
And that's because we need to start treating this like a business. We need to treat music like a business. Let the creators be the creators on one side. Let's have business people who are informed, who understand, who read contracts. I'm gonna keep saying that because that for me is it's a lot. we really need to let the people own your shit.
Yes, and that's true. Let people exploit your shit. No, because yes, so you can make money from it, right?
Simple and sweet. Simple and sweet. Hey, I think we have Bokkie. It's come through. We got one of the gents. Yo, BokkieUlt.
What's up,
What's up, King?
Yeah, I'm good. But yes, I can't see you.
You can't see us?
Yeah, wait. Let me do this. Much better.
But we've only got 10 minutes left, right?
Yeah. 10 minutes left.
Hey, I sent a message saying 7:20. It means you have to come back next week properly. There's only 10 minutes left of the show.
No, but then you said you're gonna send us a link.
I sent the link, fam.
No.
No, you're coming back next week then, fam. You have to come back next week.
Me and Q. I'm with Q, man. I'm trying to.
Hey, Q.
We're waiting for the link.
I sent the link. I even saw Q said sharp. And I was like, nice.
No.
Guys, we have to, because we've only got 10 minutes left, sure. But let's talk a bit. Let's talk.
What up?
Hey, Jed.
Yo,
but let's still talk for a bit, gents. I mean, and I think then let's do this next week. You must come back next week.
Nah,
from the beginning of the show.
No, let's add another 20 minutes.
Because I think that the broadcast cuts after 10 minutes. That's why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it actually cuts off, Sha. So, but it's all good. Let's see. My brothers, what's good?
I'm trying to separate myself from Bokkie, so there's no feedback.
Yeah, I was thinking we heard the echoes fully coming through.
For sure.
Yo, what's up? Cube,
We
what's
nice.
up?
Good, bro.
Me, I want to have a very heated up conversation with that guy over there.
Which one? This
With
one.
the red
The one with the
t-shirt.
red t-shirt.
Yes. Let's go.
Who needs a Casper aka fight? Who needs a Casper and aka fight? It's going
How you,
down.
my brother?
Yeah,
We're
but
matching. You see, you're wearing red, I'm wearing red. We're matching. It's love.
Munya.
Ah, yeah. How can you have a beef with the Moti? But I really do want to play some of your. Let's get quick questions to you, just in terms of talking about yourselves, introducing yourselves. I mean, I know I could talk about that. I mean, I've been privileged to work with both of you as producers. I know that you're very skilled producers in the game. You've done great things, which a lot of people probably don't even know. But let me let you talk for yourselves.
Starting with.
Roger.
Okay, I'll start. Hi guys, my name is Nicholas.
Yes.
Hi,
All the way
Nicholas.
all the way from Middleburg. I'm a music producer, club DJ, mix engineer, record label owner,
Hey.
publisher.
That's
Hey.
what I talk to you.
A lot of
Don't
things.
play around.
We know each other very well.
But yeah, first and foremost,
Hey, you went to the wrong corner of the house.
Yeah.
You went to the corner which has no signal. Can you hear us, Bokkie?
Gents,
Can you hear us?
the network is terrible. What's going on?
Oh, so both of you are affected.
Nick,
Why don't they just come onto the same picture? Just turn the phones over.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, you can actually do the same phone. Can you see us again?
yeah, same phone.
Tell Cube, yeah, there.
Turn the phone sideways.
Let's use the
Yeah.
same phone.
Yeah, just use
Wait.
the same. Network, the
Let's use the
problem.
same phone, Nick.
Yeah, like
yo,
that.
guys, I go by the name of BokkieUlt.
BokkieUlt.
Yeah. Music producer / DJ / mentor. You know,
Who's your mentee? Who's your mentee?
the world's youngest DJ as Junior.
Boom.
No.
Hey.
That's the shout out.
Yeah. And I'm Mr. Man of the Industry's friend.
My bestie. That's my bestie.
Yeah, you introduce yourself.
decided to check me out.
In terms of production, I also do want to quick ask about what kind of music do you say you guys produce? I'm interested to know.
I don't know what to call this thing. It's just music, man. It belongs, not belongs, but it's in the genre of music. But it's more experimental stuff. I don't want to give it a name.
It doesn't have a name.
It doesn't have a name. We're just making music that's gonna make it vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
What genre?
Honestly, it doesn't have a name. No, just go with the feel.
You just work, yo.
But just to simplify it.
Or which music do you? Let's do it. Maybe we should say what music is your favorite to produce? Like, is there a genre you get excited when you get a genre? You're like, yeah.
Me, I'd say it's Afro House / tech.
Aha.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop. Alright. You know.
I got some fire Cuba hip hop beats.
Hey.
When are you producing my album, Cube?
We got haiku up in the house.
We need to talk.
With regards, you know, Bokkie,
You heard that?
what is it? I didn't hear.
No, I don't know.
I wanted to ask Bokkie quickly. You know, you said Afro House, Afro Tech. Now, that's an interesting answer to me because I feel, how's the reception locally to that genre? I don't know why I feel that. Is it as recognized as it is? I feel there's a lot more love that's coming from out, than locally for those genres specifically.
Yeah.
What's the reason you think?
Yeah, at home, in South Africa, they're not there yet. You know, they kind of like don't understand the sound yet. But I feel like they'll get there as time goes.
Because there's a lot of guys actually like yourselves that are doing outside, as in guys are busy outside of South Africa jamming Afro tech, Afro house. So there's a market.
That's actually the market. That's where actually like they really enjoy the sound, they love the sound, you know, they kind of understand it. But I feel like here at home, it's still like a bit.
Yeah.
They're building up slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Things take time, you know.
I mean, the likes of Black Coffee are now global superstars because of such genres.
Yes.
I mean, that's
The
those
sound
are
is
the genres.
beautiful. It's amazing. That's what I play when I'm DJing.
Yeah, and I've witnessed you DJ, and I've seen, and it's a party.
Yeah.
Gents, I think because we're running out of, I do want to play one of your songs, yo. So I'm trying to think which song should we play, because I do want to play a song.
Maybe
of
it's
yours
good,
before.
man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe.
2020, bro.
I think let's play Boom in 2020.
But I see you guys are in studio.
No, we're good. Huh?
Yeah, just come to the studio.
Drinking water. Oh, you want to come to the
Yes,
studio
yeah.
next time?
Exactly. You wanna come?
Okay, actually, you can because we're not that far.
Where are you?
Four ways.
You just around the corner.
Just short left, right, and you'll be right there.
I will definitely must do the things, eh?
We do the things.
Yeah, man.
So let's have a listen to Mbube 2020.
Yeah. The biggest record in the world.
are back. We are back. Fire, fire. Fire, fire.
Biggest song in the world.
Yeah. And in fact, next week we must have you guys back and we must talk about this song and its history, the original, and the copyright issues with it.
Yeah.
Because there's copyright issues. It's a big topic.
Yeah, so guys, can we get you back next week?
When next week?
For sure.
When next week?
Same time, same Sunday.
7 o'clock next week, Thursday.
But this time we'll start 7 o'clock on the dot, not 7:20.
On the first.
We just get straight into it.
Now we down.
Okay, I'm holding it
Nah.
now.
It's in the calendar. It's official.
Yeah, it's official.
It's official.
There's a beautiful jam. It's a beautiful.
No, you guys did the
No,
most. You guys amazing.
you did the do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the things that make the
Now
pot.
we're waiting for the Beyonce voice in it.
Hey, and it's coming. Hey, we call it forth. Call it forth.
Cube.
Talk to that guy over there.
Red t-shirt.
You want Beyonce?
You want
This guy.
me?
We should go and talk to the other guy with the black. Yeah, Baba.
Oh
How
yeah.
about the other one with the white?
Yeah, Beyonce is his publisher.
That's true.
That's his. He's the publisher. Beyonce, leave me out of this.
I'll call her after this. I'll call her when we're done. Don't worry.
That's beyond that one. You know,
It's engaged. The phone is engaged for now.
Beyonce, Pharrell, Jay-Z, call this guy.
We're in it.
No,
but gents,
but no.
we appreciate you coming through though. But hopefully next week we'll pick up this discussion and yeah, we want to hear more about this project, copyright, you guys' music. I want to hear more. So we'll make a plan next week, same time, same place.
Yeah.
Wonderful,
Sweet,
gents. Sharp, thanks,
man.
gents.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Shout out, gents. Have a nice one.
Sharp.
Call me Cube.
But I think for today we are gonna wrap it up. As always, it's always a pleasure to share knowledge with you guys. To be honest, we're gonna be here every Thursday as always, so stay tuned. So from your favorite Moti, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You guys need to work on your outro. You need to work on your outro. Don't worry, next week.
From your favorite man in red.
Oh! Tell him. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
So. We need to investigate today.